But we have a Bishop Highlight Question of the Week as chosen by the Bishop himself and those who assist in the program. And I know you've got one of those for us today.
And Bishop, I know we even get questions from social media, don't we?
Absolutely, we do. And Jeff is one of those persons who wrote in.
Jeff has sent this in. Not sure where he's from. We encourage you to include your location if you're sending a social media question.
I was going to say, we don't know where he's from, but we know he appreciates Father Tom Hunyer.
That's right. He says, Dear Bishop Thomas, I saw a breathtaking photo on social media of Father Tom Hunyer celebrating Mass in the Swiss Alps. It sparked a question. What are some of the most memorable places you have ever celebrated Mass? I love that question.
What a great question, Jeff, and thanks for pointing this out. And folks, Jeff is right. It's a stunning photo, if you haven't seen it, of Father Tom Hunyer from the back now, lifting the Holy Eucharist, celebrating Mass in the Swiss Alps. It's amazing. And it was shared on our social media. So if you can find it, it is actually on our Diocese of Toledo social media. And I think it might be also on the parish at Delphus, St. John's Delphus, because that's where Father is a parochial vicar. So not surprising. And he's there. And I think it's Chris Evert, if I'm not mistaken, who he's with, the group that he's with. And now we get to your question. What are some of the most memorable places you've ever celebrated Mass? So I'm going to take a deep breath. Are you ready? First and foremost, I have to say, one of the first is, of course, the cathedral in which I was ordained and my home parish sanctuary where I celebrated Mass, my first Mass for the first time. That was extraordinarily memorable. So here's a long list. Sorry to make it so long, Jeff. So the Church of San Stefano in Assisi, where Francis likely worshipped himself, the tomb of St. Francis in Assisi, the crypt beneath St. Peter's Basilica, right before the tomb of St. Peter, the altars and the chapels down in the Roman catacombs, several times celebrated Mass in those, the rooms of several saints in Rome, St. Catherine of Siena, St. Benedict Joseph Labre, St. Ignatius of Loyola, for example. The several monasteries where I've had the gift and the grace of making retreats throughout the world. Actually, this was one of the more striking, not quite the Swiss Alps, but hiking on the Appalachian Trail as a newly ordained on an overturned canoe, offering Mass on an overturned canoe for young people in the clearing of a forest on a giant rock.
Wow.
St. Peter's Square, of course, with several popes, and in the private chapel of the Pope, standing next to Pope St. John Paul II as he offered Mass with my chalice and patens, and in a chapel of the Sisters of the Missionaries of Charity, offering Mass for Mother Teresa of Calcutta. So these were pretty significant for me, Jeff. Just a few extraordinary memories.
Wow, I love that. So many great places that he celebrated Mass. Can you imagine Mass on an overturned canoe?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Well, and I will tell you, one of the most beautiful places I get to see the bishop celebrate Mass is the cathedral. So I wasn't with him for any of those others, but I certainly enjoy every single time I get to participate in the celebration of Mass with him as the celebrant, because his devotion to the Mass is so obvious. His love for the Eucharist, his love for us, quite frankly, is also very clear. And lots of beautiful places you can celebrate Mass. For me, one of the most wonderful things about the celebration of Mass is when he is the celebrant. So
in that beautiful cathedral.